Welcome back to Season 2 of LoreScape. Today's video is on Theater of Blood, or better yet known as Taub. This raid is located under the castle in Verschenhaza in Mortania, and if you'd like to know more about Mortania, then check out Season 1. I really appreciate you guys, so if you'd like to help me grow, hit the like, leave a comment, or become a subscriber. Thank you guys so much. Theater of Blood. Arguably one of the hardest pieces of content in the game, Taub was released in June of 2018, a little over a year after Chambers of Xeric. The ruling vampires use this rather large area to host blood sports, and actually encourage the citizens of Meyerditch to go to the theater and fight against the various abominations and experiments found inside. This was a very tempting offer, as they were promised freedom from the blood ties and given the right to leave Mortania should they somehow succeed. Of course, this was all a lie, as the vampires are no fools and will not part ways with their food. It's claimed that the theater is only open to the citizens of Meyerditch, though this rule doesn't seem to be enforced. It seems the vampires gain more pleasure from watching outsiders attempt it than the citizens. This is most likely due to the fact that the outsiders are better equipped and have more experience than the poor citizens of Meyerditch. This raid houses 6 bosses inside its walls. The Maiden of Sugadinti. She was once a human named Seraphina. Out of immense love for her sick brother, she brokered a deal with a vampire. The vampire said he would spare her brother's life if they allowed him to experiment on them both. Seraphina agreed, and was thusly warped into the Maiden of Sugadinti, with her mind no longer her own, and her brother was transformed into the abomination. The vampire started and fueled the myth that Seraphina had actually beaten the Theater of Blood and was granted her freedom to instill false hope, but the citizens of Meyerditch would never know the truth. Pestilent Bloat. A crazed vampire created the pestilent bloat supposedly by using 3 giant heads, an ogre's corpse, 4 buckets of human blood, 2 cyclops arms, 2 capabulpon legs, an apple pie, and a sense of pride. Niloka Basilius. This is a giant spider that is one of Verzik's really large pets. Sodaseg. This is a dark beast that has been corrupted through high alchemy, an intruder from the Shadow Realm. Zarpus. He is the king of the Yarasa, and also the last of his kind. His race was once feared by the vampires, but he was captured by Lorenil Draken to be used as a boss in the Theater of Blood. Verzik Vitur. Lady Verzik Vitur is the vampire that rules over Verschenhaza. Not only is she the hostess of the Theater of Blood, but she is also the final boss. During the Second Age, Zeros brought Lady Verzik and many others from the vampire homeworld of Vampirium. They refer to Zeros as stranger from afar. Before she had left her homeworld, she had domesticated a large number of Nilokas that she brought with her to Gielinor. Fond of culture and collecting, she had a weapon called the Scythe of Vitur, which was a very valuable family heirloom from the ancient and revered founder of House Vitur. She also inherited the Grazi rapier from her father. It's said that she joined Zeros' military forces and was issued an Avernic Defender during her service. She was good friends with the Draken family though, and later continued to support them even after Lorenil Draken's participation in helping Zamorak overthrow Zeros. While Lorenil was conquering Hollowvale, Verzik worked with Rhaenys Draken, brother of Lorenil, and helped capture and torture a Justicar for several days. In doing so, they learned of a secret tunnel that went under the royal castle, allowing Lorenil's forces to capture King Acertes. Lorenil thusly rewarded Verzik with Epherate's castle, and later she would remodel it into what is now known as Verschenhaza. Loving to play with her food, she often demanded the vampire soldiers entertain her, but she soon became bored of this and had them construct the Theater of Blood with the idea that it would be filled with strong monsters. The reward for successfully completing the theater was freedom from blood ties and Mortania, should any be able to prevail. As the last boss, very few made their way to her, but if they did, she would personally finish them off. During the Miscellin-Mortanian War in the Fourth Age, she assisted Lorenil Draken when he launched an attack on the kingdom west of the River Salve. Although they failed, and the 7 priestly warriors were able to bless the River Salve, Lorenil still rewarded Verzik with the Sanguinesti staff, which he crafted himself. Staying in contact with Rhaenys, she took in Seraphina, believing it wrong to abandon her after all the work Rhaenys put into her, and called her the Maiden of Sugadinti. This prompted Verzik to renovate the theater, replacing all of her previous challenges. Lorenil believed Verzik could use some arachnic eggs for her breeding program, so Rhaenys gave her some. As she worked to replace her challenges, she was gifted a grotesque creation from a supposedly insane vampire named the Butcher. She named the Pestilent Bloat. Verzik then shows Rhaenys the Nilocus Athanatos, a new Nilocus creation, possible because of the arachnid eggs. She proceeds to show him the Nilocus chamber, complaining that they are too weak, to which he suggests that she uses Hespori bark for its regenerative properties. Rhaenys went even further, gifting her a dark beast called Stoteseg. The beast's power over the Shadow Realm brought back memories of the Zerosian Empire, but the project failed, and so he gave the dark beast to Verzik, who took it in just like Serfina, believing it to be a great addition to the theater. As they continued to tour the theater, Rhaenys sent her Zarpus, the king of the Urasa and the last of its kind. Believing they were all extinct, Verzik wondered how Lorenil had gone back to Vampirium, but Rhaenys did not know. That's when Verzik showed Rhaenys her finest creation, a small Queen Nilocus, but it ended up biting her and dying. She soon felt ill and called for the doctor, Vulcan Orvoros. He helped her as best he could, but the symptoms returned. He wanted her to visit his office in Darkmire, but she refused. Verzik grew morbidly obese during this time, and all efforts made to get her to go to his office were shot down. Suddenly, she exploded, a Nilocus queen coming out of her. The queen ordered the doctor to be killed so there were no witnesses. She then declared the age of the vampires were over and that the Nilocus would take their place. Although she was bigger and the doctor had disappeared, no one else knew something had happened to Verzik. This was most likely due to the queen inheriting Verzik's personality and that the only known witnesses were dead. The queen who took Verzik's place, and everyone thinks is Verzik, then opened the theater to all. She would then wait until a group of outsiders came to challenge the theater. Impressed and entertained by them, she couldn't let them leave, so she attempted to kill them, even using her vampire Nilocus from which she was bested and forced to flee. She transformed into a bat, much to her embarrassment. Despite that setback, she would later return to face other challengers, even if they were the same ones that defeated her before. During Rhaenys' hunt for the Myarchy, Verzik gave him an abomination that supposedly pursued a target till it was dead if it had acquired its smell. And that's how Theater of Blood came to be. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, Foxes.